Hello, everyone, and welcome to Full-on, your Fulham-centric football podcast. I'm your host, Ash Woolford. Joining me today for our Bournemouth preview is Kyle. How you doing, mate?
Good evening, gents. I'm okay, thank you. It's been a bit of a long week, but we're halfway through it.
Yeah, we're getting there. And Drew, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, my friend. Good to see you both.
Yeah, mate, it's good to see you. We need to put behind us a terrible result at Villa Park on Sunday as Fulham head to Bournemouth on Friday night. Well, there's not really much that we can do about reflection from Sunday. I think we pretty much covered it in our review of the Villa game. I think the best thing for us to do is sort of put that behind us and look forward. As we do that now, we sort of need to look at our squad and potentially what we have going into this game. We had some semi-decent news come out today from the club that it looks like Raul Jimenez is going to be okay to play on Friday night. The knock was taken off more as a precaution than anything else, which is good news because it does mean we're going to have a striker. Whether or not we have a replacement striker on the bench, we'll come to see. Drew, going into the game on Friday night, we know Bournemouth are difficult. We know how they like to play. What do we need to change up our starting lineup from what we finished with at Villa or started at Villa? What do you think we need to do squad wise going into this game on Friday?
Do we need to change it? Yes, I think we do. Simply just to, and this was touched on in our review game, following on from Villa Park. Simply just to let a few players know they're not untouchable. Because some of those performances at Villa Park veered between either being anonymous or just blatantly unacceptable. The problem we've got, I say problem, the issue or the characteristic we have is that Marco is very conservative. He likes his older, senior, more established pros. He's got his what he considers to be his first 11, and his core, 7 or 8 senior pros, and he's not going to diverge from that. So, I would like to see some changes. I'd like to see Cuenca brought in. I'd like to see Kevin start from the beginning, preferably on the right. And I'd happily see Iwobi brought into the centre, following on from Berge's performance on Sunday, and let Lukic cover the defensive side of things. But it's not going to happen. We can pretty much predict what the lineup's going to be now.
It's frustrating, isn't it? We know we had a big talk on Sunday about what we need to do to react to the game that's coming up this weekend. Bournemouth had a really good start to the season. We know they're a good team. We know they've got a good manager, and we know they set up well. They're a difficult team to play, especially at home. Kyle, going into this one, we still don't know whether or not we're going to see Anthony Robinson or Ryan Sessegnon at left back. I think if we're now getting to the point where Anthony Robinson is fit, he needs to be that person playing left back because he's such an important outlet for us. But other than sort of that position, everywhere else, I don't think there's questions in terms of fitness in position-wise. I don't know about Kenny Tete. Obviously, we haven't had any comments about that. We probably won't find out until, tomorrow or Thursday, the day before the game, when Marco Silva talks about the game, if Tete is going to be fit or not. Drew's mentioned he'd like to see Kevin start. Is there any changes that you would like to see from the start going into the game on Friday night?
If Robinson's fit, yeah, he's got to start left back. I would like echo what Drew said. I'd like Kevin to go on the right. I'd try maybe Sessegnon on the left because we know what he can do. But again, I'd probably drop Berg. Maybe give Harrison Reed a little run out. He deserves it, and I think Lukic could probably push a little bit forward because I think he's more of an attacker driver, if that makes sense. He can drive the team forward a bit like him and Tom Kearney. But I'm glad that. Well, I'm hoping that Raul starts because if we haven't got an out-and-out striker, then we could be in trouble on Friday night.
Yeah, look, we need to have an honest conversation with ourselves, especially around Marco Silva and our recruitment team, and how it doesn't look like they've seen eye to eye in the recruitment with certain players coming in the summer. We've got this young lad who's coming from Bayern Munich, who, from all the indications, Marco Silva doesn't fancy him at all. Whenever he's asked about him, he just says that he's not ready, he's not prepared, he's not ready to go in. Whether that could just be because he didn't really have much of a pre-season, I don't know. Like, it could literally just be a preparation thing, and Marco does want him. It's just he's not quite ready yet. Who knows? But going into the game on Friday, Drew, if we have to have a striker on the bench to cover him, if Muniz isn't quite back, who do you want to go with there? Do you want to go with some of the under-21s, bring them up and just have them there if they need it? It's better to have someone who's naturally a striker but inexperienced than trying to put someone like, trying to put someone who is experienced in terms of match days but isn't a striker. Makes no sense.
Well, we tried the experienced player who wasn't a striker at Villa Park. And while Traore can run fast, he can't hold up the ball, and he's not a striker. JKA from Bayern, I mean, he is a striker. My view is it's next man up. You can't be a professional football club and lose your top two strikers and then just say, "Oh, we've got no strikers, so we can't play anyone." I mean, that's just nonsense. That is just absolute nonsense. I mean, we have to have a striker from somewhere. And it might not be ideal playing an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. But if that's all we've got, then that's what we've got, and we should go with it. I don't see the point. Kyle's mentioned Kevin, that he'd like to see him on the right. I fully endorse that. I can understand why Kyle's saying that. Kevin's naturally right-footed. And it would give us an option of someone actually trying to attack the byline and get crosses in. I don't see why you would weaken another part of the team. So, for example, let's just say we took Kevin from the right or the left and we played him up front. He's clearly a winger, and he's a good winger. So why would we weaken ourselves out wide and take our most expensive signing and put him in a position where he's not the most effective? It doesn't make any sense to me. I fear that Marco is going to dig his heels in because that's what Marco does. I don't know why he's trying to, why he won't play JKA. I don't know why he won't promote one of the under-21s, whether it's arrogance because he thinks he can just out-coach Areola and Fulham will be fine regardless, whether it's because he's trying to prove a point to the board. You haven't given me the resources I need to compete in this league. I honestly don't know. I don't know. It may simply be that, everything that I've said, he thinks is nonsense and he's quite happy to weaken one part of the field in order to try and strengthen another. But I would like to see, one of the youngsters at least on the bench, assuming, as Carl said, we do have one fully fit senior striker. But I mean, Ash, I think it was you that made this point. Forgive me if it wasn't. But I think someone said on the Villa review, we're relying on a 34-year-old, to come back following being injured and play 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. And he's only done that once in a year. He's only played 90 minutes for us once.
It's done that once in a year. And we are a professional Premier League football club. Really?
I could see what's going to happen. He's going to play maybe 60, 70 minutes, and then Marco's going to bring on Traore up top. That's what's going to happen.
For me, I completely get what you're saying about not weakening one area of the pitch to the other. There was only one winger on the bench on Sunday, who's actually had experience of playing up front before, and that's Chukwueze, who's played up front not many times, very rarely, but he's had some experience of playing up front. If there was any player on the bench that made sense for him to come up front on Sunday, it would have been him. We said it on Sunday, well, I did anyway, that I reckon the only reason why he probably didn't take that risk is because he's still sort of trying to find his feet, and he may not be fit enough to play 80 minutes, let alone 90. But so it would make sense where maybe he chose to play Traore. what then doesn't make
Mm.
sense is then he didn't refuse to take Traore off after an hour of him playing and doing nothing. So, it's one of those things where him digging his heels in has really got to come to an end because it's starting to affect us in the long run. There's a couple of things with Marco that are starting to really affect us. He's not wanting to play youth players. He's 100% up there. I would really, if JKA isn't available on Friday, I would really love to see Aaron Lapalabai come up from the under-21s and take a spot on that bench. He's a striker who, yes, it's only under-21s, hasn't had any first team experience, but he's scoring goals at the under-21s level. He knows how to score, and not the goal size doesn't change at that age level. Like, you need someone who knows where it is and how to use it. Yes, it's a different quality and a different thing, but sometimes you just got to take that risk. And if you're gonna have someone on the bench, if it's not going to be JKA, it's not going to be Muniz because he isn't back. Then having a player there who actually naturally plays that position is the most sensible thing for me. Kyle, one of the things that really concerned us on Sunday was our mentality. Right, we had this massive discussion afterwards about Marco Silva and his little temper tantrums and the way he acts on the wing, out on the wings and out on the touchline. Sometimes it comes across as a way as it almost gives permission for the players on the pitch to start acting that way when things go against us. We saw it when Harry Wilson was yellow carded on Sunday after Marco Silva had been yellow carded because it almost gave him permission to moan. From a mentality point of view, going into this game on Friday, what do you want to see? Do you want to see like a clear sign of discipline there, or are you happy with the players playing with the heart on their sleeves a bit, as long as they're channeling it correctly? Because at the moment they're not.
Yeah, so I want to see a bit of more professional leadership, but like you say, play with their heart on their sleeves, but in a positive channeling way. You don't want them to go flying in tackles or getting booked for dissent, but it comes from Marco. If Marco's running up and down the touchline in the linesman's ear or the fourth official's ear, it feeds onto the players on the pitch. And you've seen it. Look, I know we're going back, but the United game in the Cup, when Marco got sent off and then Mitch Fitch kicked off as well, I think Marco is one of these managers that he's not being professional enough towards his players, if that makes sense, boys.
Yeah, no, I get it. For me, it's a discipline thing. It's a discipline thing from the head down, right? As you look at it, I understand Marco Silva. He's a passionate man, and that is who he is. And I don't want him to lose that, right? But my biggest problem with him is that when he has those games where he sees that red mist, and we've seen them 3 or 4 times at Fulham now, it sends the message that the players that are on the pitch at the time that I've lost my call, so you can lose yours too. And the problem is that when that happens, we never get positive reactions. Sunday was the prime example of this, right? Where we were completely in control of a game. We had 3 or 4 decisions go against us. Everyone starts throwing their arms up in the air because Marco is. We can see the sloppy goal, and then everyone's just looking at each other like, what the hell's going on? It really needs to change. Drew, we've had this discussion in the past about, sometimes we can be really feeble, right? And sometimes we can be really sort of weak in when things go against us. What is it like that you want to see here? Do you want to see whoever's captain on the pitch taking charge and sort of rallying people around, or do we just need to accept that if Marco's in charge, this is going to happen?
I mean, obviously, I would like to see us develop a siege mentality. I would like to see us approach it with a bit of maturity. We can't do anything about VAR decisions, and we need to stop fighting battles of couldn't care less, because I say couldn't care less, couldn't do anything about. We need to stop letting what we can't affect affecting what we can affect. Do you see what I'm getting at? Too much hand wringing and head shaking is going on at VAR decision. It's an emotional game. Our team aren't full of androids, but we just don't seem to handle adversity well. We just don't. And I don't know what it is. Fergie, probably the most famous proponent of using it to fuel the fire of a siege mentality, but we don't seem to do that. Instead, we seem to. I'm not saying we look for reasons to collapse, but if Fulham have a decision go against them, I would put money on it more likely to say it would adversely affect the rest of their game than it galvanise them. And going back to the point you said about do we have to accept this simply because that's the way Marco is and that's the impact he has upon the team. Looking from the other end of the telescope, what has Marco done to change himself? Yeah, how he coaches, how he manages, for the advantage of the team or the club. Because I don't really. I mean, we've played always the same system. We've played the same style. There's always been the reluctance to play young players. I do wonder if Marco is our glass ceiling now. He's fabulous, and we owe him so much. But I don't think we are going to get to the next level unless Marco himself wants to, on a personal level, improve. I think Marco. I'm not sure Marco is aware at all of what we perceive his flaws to be. It may be he doesn't think they're flaws and he thinks they're strengths, but we're not the only people that have noticed it because it's increasingly being talked about around the cottage and on other fan sites and all sorts of things. And you do wonder, don't you, how other teams view him? Because I know that he really, really, really fluttered his eyelids at Spurs or his eyes at Spurs this off-season because he would have taken that job, but he didn't get looking. Yeah, I hear paper talk about Man United replacing Amorim, but Silva's not mentioned now, which I find strange. But yeah, I think Ash, you're quite right. I think we could do with someone who can use those decisions, use that adversity to galvanise the team. But nothing I have seen in the way the team reacts or the way Marco reacts indicates to me that there's going to be any sort of change. I know that sounds really depressing. And ironically enough, Ash, I keep coming back to the Villa game last year at home and the monumental collapse after Pereira missed the penalty. I still can't explain, nor can you, my friend, what happened for 25 minutes. That wasn't even a VAR decision, was it, Ash?
No, that was us. That was us missing the penalty. Yeah,
exactly.
We just
didn't. We didn't handle it at all. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
Carl,
no,
I think
I think you perfectly answered my question. To be absolutely honest with you, it is one of those things, isn't it? That it's frustrating that we have to break the cycle. The frustration taken over our performance cycle really needs to change. If we're ever going to succeed and get further and get to Europe like we want to, that needs to change. If Marco ever really wants that big time job that he probably deserves on some level,
needs to change.
He's going to have to take that in and change too. Lads, let's finish this one like we always do. Players to watch from both teams going into this game and a scoreline prediction, please. Drew, I'll start with you, mate, because I already know who you're going to player to watch to be for Bournemouth is going to be. Player to watch from both teams and a scoreline prediction, please.
Player to watch from both teams. Ooh. I think if he starts, and Carl's already mentioned him, I think Robinson will be crucial, simply because they've got Semenya on the other side, and he's very quick. And I think Robinson probably is the only person that could match him stride for stride, even though Semenya plays more through the middle and Robinson plays left back. So for us, I pick Robinson. For them, well, I've already mentioned Semenya because he has a nasty habit of scoring against us. But they've already won 3 games on the spin at one point this season. Bournemouth, they've lost players and they just seem to have carried on. At the moment, a lot of it falls on Semenya, but The other one, and he got really hot at the end of last year, and I don't know if you remember this, but Kluivert,
yeah.
he really hit a purple patch, and he hasn't yet. And bearing in mind the favours we do for other teams, it would just be like us for Kluivert to find his shooting boots. But yeah, Robinson for us if he plays, Semenya for them.
Yeah, fair enough. Kyle, how about you, mate? 2 players to watch and a scoreline prediction, please.
Well, for us, if he starts, will be Kevin, because I think he is due a start, because when he comes on, he does light up the game and he can change a game and create chances. If he plays on the right wing, I'd like to see him get down the right wing and put a ball across, not cut back. So, yeah, Kevin. For Bournemouth, if he's again, it'll be Kluivert, because it's just typical. Like Drew was saying, last end of the season, he was on form. He hasn't really hit it, but it'd be typical for him to start hitting this form against Fulham, wouldn't it? Well, I think I'm going to go over 1-1 draw.
I will take a draw right now. I think realistically,
I'm absolutely over the moon with that, Carl.
Yeah, we have to look at our performances in recent years at the Vitality. We always tend to go there and drop an absolute clanger. I still have nightmares about the Boxing game there a couple of years ago when we looked like we'd been on the beers all Christmas Day, and it was terrible. It was one of the worst performances I've ever seen Fulham put in. Like Bournemouth beat us 3-0, and it could have been 7 or 8. It was almost like their Christmas present to us was not taking the mick, because it could have been that way. Players to watch for me, I think you both sort of hit it. For me, Sander Berg, if he's going to play in this game, because I don't see Marco Silva changing it. He's had 3 or 4 really quiet games over the last couple of weeks. He was almost non-existent at Villa Park on Sunday. He's going to have to put a performance in this game. If not, there's going to have to start being some serious questions about if him and Lukic work together playing on the pitch. We can't have 2 central midfielders who have not scored a goal in a year and a half between them. It's not good enough. Lukic does what Lukic does for the team. We all see that. Berger is really quiet, and I know there's some arguments from people that he does the things you don't notice, which is why you don't notice him. But the last couple of games, his performances have been really, really poor. And if we're going to get anything out of a game like this, we're going to have to win the midfield battle. And he can't be non-existent for that to happen. For Bournemouth, yeah, it's easy to go for Kluivert. It's easy to go for Semenya. Semenya always scores against us. Kluivert is just naturally going to come back and haunt us after we tried to sign him once, and then obviously didn't get that work permit and ended up down to Bournemouth 6 months later, which is typical Fulham not to go back in for him after that. But for me, I really, really think the player to watch from Bournemouth is actually, he's probably Evan Nelson. Like, he's another one. He's one of these players. He's so good. He's so good, and I love watching him play football. And I wonder every single week I see him how the hell he's at Bournemouth. But he fits their style of play so well, and he'll be the next one they sell for big money, and it's going to happen. But that is what it is for me. Scoreline wise, I will bite your hand at a draw right now. I would take a 1-1. I'll take a 2-2, but I just don't see it happening. I still feel like there's going to be some hangover from the game on Sunday. So for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Bournemouth, and I'm hoping we see a reaction. I'm hoping that I'm being so negative that we see a reaction, but I just can't see it myself. Lads, thank you very much for joining me on this match preview. If you're watching, please give us your sort of players to watch, scoreline prediction in the comments. If you haven't done so already, watch our new episode of FFC and Me that was out this week. I sat down with Yusuf and we had a chat about him and his boxing career and being a Fulham fan and how that works. Great episode, so come join us for that. Other than that, there's not really much to say, other than hopefully Fulham don't ruin your weekend on Friday night. And we'll see you early next week for the match review. Come on, you Whites.
Come on.